Hello. So I'm going to talk about my Biodesign Challenge concept today, and it's based heavily on the work of Julia Watson and a book she wrote called Low Tech Designed by Radical Indigenism. So I want to briefly touch on some of the concepts from that book before I introduce my project. Um, she starts off by talking about the mythology of technology and how it's deemed local wisdom as primitive and unsophisticated, and our modern Western world is built on this mythology, and so she kind of makes an argument that we need a new mythology that acknowledges the wisdom of indigenous communities. So low tech is all about this reframing of local wisdom and indigenous technology. It's a play on words that kind of takes how these things have typically been deemed as primitive and low technology in a bad sense, and references them now as low tech, as low refers to local and TEK refers to traditional ecological knowledge. So it's a reappropriation of the term low tech. A key concept in her book is radical indigenism, um, which she refers to as a rebuilding of knowledge through explorations of indigenous philosophies capable of generating new dialogues. So, a really key part of this whole process is engaging with indigenous knowledge keepers and indigenous communities with respect, not exploiting them and not like taking their technology, but more so viewing it as a process to work with local people and local wisdom to inform how we design for a more symbiotic future. So the book asks the question, what if our most sustainable technologies were rooted in cultures who figured out solutions to climate extremes a millennia ago? Um, so a project that Julia Watson did is called Symbiocene, which references this shift from the Anthropocene to an era in which we exist in symbiosis with non humans, all living things, really. So, this it was a gallery show. It basically what happens is they they work with an indigenous specific indigenous community and their specific indigenous technology, and propose a hybrid technology of what that might look like in the year 2040, um, specifically in like more urban and more modern contexts. Um, so one of the precedents was the root bridges of Meghalaya, which I had already talked about earlier in the semester. So I thought that was awesome. These are some drawings from the book about the root bridges of Meghalaya, how they're made, um, and the project that resulted from using that precedent study was this living canopy and walkway. I think this was a proposal for a city in India. So the root bridges are native to India, a northern region of India. So it's it's not traveling too far, but it's kind of an adoption of that technology and bringing it to a different context. Um, so my project is basically building, or what I would like to do rather, is building on this body of work and looking specifically at local indigenous tech in New Mexico. We have some of the most resilient communities um, right in our backyard. And I think it's kind of a shame that, at least at the School of Architecture, we don't have a mandatory class in which we learn about Pueblo architecture or um, indigenous tech at all. So I would like to create a proposal for a hybrid tech building on that local wisdom. I think one of the challenges is that I'm not exactly sure which specific indigenous technology I'm going to look at. Um, but I think I'm definitely going to start off with research and start asking questions and um, yeah, so that's my project. I'm pretty excited. Thank you.